have died with the virus, a man and 2 women in their 80s. 245 people are in hospital, including 11 in ICU and 2 on a ventilator. There are currently more than 29,000 active cases in the state. Labor is being accused of spreading a straight-out lie the federal government would expand the cashless debit card if it's re-elected. The opposition is distributing pamphlets in marginal seats claiming the card would be rolled out to all aged pensioners. It's used in some Indigenous communities to limit gambling and alcohol products. Campaigning in Perth, Prime Minister Scott Morrison says it won't be extended.
What I think is a despicable lie which is being told by the Labor Party. And they're seeking to do it in secret. The Labor Party is ringing up people, sending out brochures, writing to pensioners and scaring them.
SA Police have revealed they carried out almost 24,000 alco tests and around 1,000 drug tests over the Easter long weekend. 72 drivers blew over the limit and 101 tested positive for drugs. 1,231 drivers were clocked speeding, with 50 doing more than 30 k's over the speed limit. 63 people were caught not wearing a seatbelt and 75 for using a mobile phone while driving, while 307 cars were defected. There was 1 fatality over the Easter period. A man died on Friday after his ute collided with a freight train in the mid-north. At least 7 people have been killed in the first fatal Russian attacks on the western Ukrainian city of Lviv. Brett McLeod reports.
Being just 70 kilometres from the border with Poland, Lviv was seen as a safe haven for many Ukrainians fleeing the brutality in the country's east. That's now been shattered, with a number of missiles hitting infrastructure facilities, including a tyre workshop. Among the injured, a 3-year-old boy who's undergone surgery. A number of cities were targeted by Russian missiles across the day, seen as precursors to a renewed offensive in the country's east.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
The Robertson Brothers 1960s variety TV show, Her Majesty's Theatre, Thursday, May 12. Tickets at the venue.
Port Adelaide's unveiled its Anzac round Guernsey, including club champion Bob Quinn's mantra, always give more than anyone else inside the back collar. The silhouette of a lone soldier also appears on the front. Port hosts West Coast on Saturday. The club still looking for their first win of the season. The Crows are also in action on Saturday against the Bulldogs. Ash Barty's next sporting challenge has been revealed. Jordan Tunbridge has the details.
Less than a month after announcing her shock retirement from tennis at the age of 25, Ash Barty is turning her attention to golf. Barty, who has a handicap of 4, will play alongside some of the world's biggest sports stars in the Icon Series exhibition event in New York. British soccer player Harry Kane, Olympic swimmer Michael Phelps and boxer Canelo Alvarez are among the others taking part this June.
And former Australian cricketer Ryan Campbell is in a coma in a London hospital after suffering a heart attack at a park. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Urgent gas works at Clearview on Hampstead Road near Collins Street. Speeds down to 40 due to works at Plimpton on Anzac Highway near Charles Street. That's affecting inbound with a lane closure in place. Same at West Hindmarsh on Port Road near South Road affecting outbound. And a speed camera Commercial Road, Seaford Rise and Military Road, Largs Bay. At Jack's Tyres and Auto, get 20% off mechanical services and 10% off tyres till the end of the month. Call Jack's today to make a booking. Jack's Tyres and Auto. Peace of mind driving. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Ladies, gorgeous merino wool tops, jumpers and jackets available at Leslie's of Gawler, 100 Murray Street, Gawler.
Partly cloudy this afternoon, 20. A morning shower or 2 tomorrow, 21. Thursday partly cloudy, 21. And Friday much the same, a top of 21. Right now it's 18 degrees. Now let's hear what's happening on 9 News Tonight.
Are we past the peak of our COVID wave? What it means for masks in schools. CCTV captures 2 home invaders smashing their way into a Highbury home. The heart-stopping mum at a commuter falls off a train platform. See what happens next. And 36er turned NBA superstar Josh Giddey mobbed by hundreds of young fans at Campbelltown. I'm Brenton Raglis. See the full story on 9 News tonight at 6.
$13.95, Adelaide's 5AA. This is Jade Robran.
Good afternoon and welcome back to the program. Thanks so much for joining Afternoons here on 5AA. You can head to the 5AA live stream on either Facebook or YouTube to watch the last hour of the show, and then Rowie Sports Show after 4 o'clock, proudly supporting Cancer Council South Australia. Well, it's that time of the week where we chat about cars.
Life is a highway. I wanna ride it all night long.
Good afternoon to Trent Nikolic, Managing Editor at drive.com.au. Did you have a nice break?
Hi Jade, I did have a nice break, yes. I probably didn't think quickly enough because I should have put in some leave for these 4 days here and, done the whole 2 weeks off thing, but I was a little bit dopey and slow this year. So, like you, back at work today, like we never had a break.
We just love our job so much, so why would we want
exactly
holidays?
What it is. That's right.
If you would like to talk to Trent about your car, maybe you are thinking of buying a new one or selling, or you've got a nice classic that you want to ask him a question about, now's the time to give us a buzz, 8223 0000. Hey, I want to ask you a question about a story that you've got on drive.com.au about new car buyers. They're jumping on Facebook. What are they doing?
Yeah, it's really quite interesting. Jumping on Facebook and publicising the price of their cars, which is starting to get a little bit ugly because you then end up with a whole bunch of other people finding out what everybody else has paid for their car. And I think it's one thing, this is where the whole fixed price thing and set price thing is a really interesting one because the argument is if you and I are at a dinner party and you say to me, I picked up my car for 50 grand and I go, hang on, I paid 55 for the same car. Mm-hmm. It's one thing for us to be discussing it, but when we go online and what these people are doing is they're sharing the price of the car, so then you might think that, I got a better deal than you, but critically what they're actually talking about is the drive away pricing. So the argument among the consumers is that they're doing it to make sure they're not being ripped off in terms of drive-away pricing because one thing that's always been a bit fluid in the industry is what the actual drive-away pricing is. So when we test drive a car at Drive, Jade, what we tend to do is we say the list price in Australia is $59,990 for this particular car, yep, plus on-road costs, because the on-road costs in Adelaide are different to Sydney, are different to Perth, are different to Brisbane. But where it's always been a bit fluid is actually what those on-road costs total, the dealer delivery, those statutory charges that they add up, have always been a bit flexible. So it's really interesting that these Facebook groups have been started, and it's, to be fair, it's with in-demand cars. So it's people who are buying cars that are particularly in demand. They're saying, well, I've been charged $1,000, and someone else is saying, well, I've been charged $3,000 or $2,500 or whatever it might be.
So you've got an example of a Ford Ranger that was on one of the forums. What happened? So
General Motors have been accused of charging in excess of $25,000 of dealer delivery, right, for a Corvette, while other dealers have charged $2,000 for the same car.
So what, do you mean like if the car's in Sydney and you need it in Adelaide, they're charging $25,000 for that? No,
the dealer delivery is just post the list price. So that's like me saying, you come into the dealership and I say to you, that car's $100,000, but it's $25,000 to get it registered and ready. So it's $125,000.
Oh, bull dust.
Yeah, correct. So the Ford Ranger one that you're talking about, dealers had quoted $5,000 on dealer delivery, while at the other end of the scale, some were charging between $1,000 and $1,800. Now, the car companies, they can't actually do anything about it, because it's individual dealers that aren't necessarily, in this instance, they're not owned by Ford Australia. They're not managed by Ford Australia. So it's hard for them to police it. But I think consumers are getting more and more savvy, Jade, and your point there that this is bull dust is absolutely right. So what I'd encourage everybody to do, if you feel like the charge is astronomical, and really anything above about $2,500, $3,000 is starting to get a bit unrealistic, to be honest, regardless of the car. So I think if you feel like the dealer that you're speaking to is trying to, pull your leg a little bit with that, it's worth looking for these online groups and finding out what other people are paying.
Let's talk to Michael. He's called in to ask you a question. Welcome to the show, Michael.
Hi, Jade. Hi, Trent. How are you going today?
Good, mate.
Good, thanks, Michael.
Good. Just a comparison, Trent, on the Hi-Ace van and the Staria Hyundai van. What's the better model?
Right, so they're both excellent, mate, to be honest, and we've actually got a Staria in the garage right now that we're testing, and they're both really, really good. I think for my money, if I was buying one right now, I'd get the High Ace, but only just. There's very, very little in it, but it's just that's a personal preference for me. But what I'd advise you to do is drive both of them and spend a bit of time in both of them, take them both for a test drive. And if you really prefer driving the Staria, or you feel like there's something in the cabin that's a bit more flexible for you, something like that, then don't hesitate to buy the Staria because you won't have an issue with it. But yeah, for me, I just prefer the High Ace just a little bit.
Yeah, I'll tell you the truth. I've actually ordered the High Ace, and I was just wondering what the better van is at the moment.
Look, I think the other thing too, mate, is that what's really impressive for me about the Staria is that for the first time in a very long time, there's a genuine competitor in the market now to the High Ace.
Yeah.
So, you know, people like you 5 years ago, you would have just bought a High Ace and not even looked at anything else. I think the fact that the Staria is there now, it means people are actually considering it.
Cool. All right. Appreciate that.
Good stuff.
No
Thanks,
worries,
Michael.
mate. You've made a good decision.
Let's now talk to Sean. He's calling in from Port Adelaide. Hi, Sean.
Hello, guys. I've got a question, actually, in regards to what you were just talking about, mate, in regards to deal delivery. I wanted to ask you, ethically and legally, how does this car yard sit? Second-hand cars, they're trying to charge deal delivery on. It was one of the bigger ones, mate, and it's a 2-year-old car, and it was about 42K. And then they did a sum for me that came to 46. And I said, well, that's more than stamp duty and transfer. Where's this extra $1,600 coming from? And they said dealer delivery. And I said, you can't charge dealer delivery on a used car. And he goes, mate, we'll charge it on all cars. If you don't want to pay it, don't buy it.
Bad attitude.
I rang the MCA about it. Sorry.
Yeah. No, keep going.
I rang the MCA, mate, and they didn't even want to answer the question. They just said, they're right. If you don't want to buy it, go elsewhere, which I thought was a really cop-out answer. It's either legal or it's not. It's a real weird one.
It is a real weird one. I might have a look into it a little bit further and see if I can find out some information that I can let you know next week when we speak to Jade again. But on that subject, I've got a real issue at the moment with the way some of these dealers are behaving. Their attitude is right. In a way, their attitude is right. If you don't like it, don't buy it. And the problem that you and I have as consumers is that if we walk away from that deal, someone else will just swan in and buy it because cars are in such short supply, and they can sell more than they can get their hands on. But I think we're going to come to a reckoning, mate, at some point, and I'm going to find out about this regardless, but we're going to come to a reckoning anyway because, like we've seen with real estate in Australia, it's never been easier to sell a property than it has been in the last 5 to 10 years. And consequently, you've got some very average real estate agents looking like they're superstars. But what's going to happen when it becomes harder to sell properties, and in the case of the motoring industry, when we get more and more cars in stock and there's more competition and everybody's not climbing over each other to get a new vehicle, only the smart dealers and the good salespeople will be able to continue selling cars. And a lot of these smart Alex that are trying it on like that won't actually last very long once it's a lot more competitive. So, yeah, I don't like it. I don't like the smell of it. I think that sort of behaviour is just garbage, especially with second-hand vehicles. And there's no reason for it. I'm more than happy for them to say, we've done a pre-purchase inspection, we've given the car a basic service, and we've had it detailed and cleaned, and you say, okay, add $500 to the price, more than happy with that. But for them to say it's $1,500 for dealer delivery when it's not a new vehicle is just ridiculous, as you said.
Oh, madness. I've got to clean it myself in half an hour.
No, absolutely. I'll look into it and I'll see if I can let Jade know next week.
I'd love to be on $3,000 an hour as well.
Mate, you and me both. Absolutely.
Thanks, Frank.
Thanks, Sean. And lucky Sean is wise enough and knows a little bit about, how to buy a car, because there's so many people in there that, me, for example, I wouldn't have even questioned that because I would have gone, oh, okay, well, cool, that's just what you got to pay for.
And so, you know what, Jade? You know what? The other thing is too, and I don't want to give them ideas, but it's just such a silly, inelegant way of doing it. If they said to you the price of the car is $46,000 and you accepted it, then they absorb that money there. But to say it's $45,000 and then add $1,500, it's just a stupid way of doing it.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Because you're going to ask questions. You're going to be like, hang on, what's all the add-ons? This makes no sense at all. Let's talk to Paul from Tea Tree Gully. Welcome to the show, Paul.
Hi there, thanks for taking my call. Hey, look, I was just wondering on your opinion and thoughts. In 2018, I bought a used car. It was a 2016 Ford Everest Titanium. Got it from Jarvis. And I went and had it serviced recently because it was coming up with the alarm. And it turns out it's the AdBlue heater. And I was quoted $1,600. And when I purchased the car, they said, we're going to add another 2 years, so you've got the full 5-year warranty as it's brand new. I went down that avenue, and then I was told, no, read the fine print, that's not covered. Anyway, the interesting bit is when I jumped on the Ford forum, in the USA and Europe, it's known to be faulty, like clockwork, at 4 years, and they replace it free of charge in Europe and America. And the only country that doesn't is Australia. But here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. You know what it's for? Is to stop your AdBlue freezing at minus 12 degrees. So
doesn't happen very often down there in South Australia, does it, mate? Get to minus 12.
No. So
that's a really interesting one. You know what? If you can just stay on the line and give Tammy your details off air, I'll look into that with Ford for you because, you know, the 5-year warranty on a 2016 car takes you into 2021. We're only 12 months past that. I think that's something that I reckon Ford should have a look at replacing under goodwill. I can't promise anything, mate, but just let me get your details. If you can, off air, if you can give them your name, your phone number, email address, and also the VIN of your car, I'll look into it for you.
Okay, I can do that. Yep.
Sure.
Thank you, mate.
Cheers, Paul.
And Jade, that point there's a really interesting one that Paul made. Because we get cars from overseas, we do often get vehicles that have got these weird features for super cold climates, for example, like that one there, that unless you live in the snowfields in Australia, it's irrelevant to you, really.
Well, that's right. So why should you have to pay for it if it's not even using it?
Yeah.
Paul, thank you. I'm going to flick you back to Tammy. If you pass your details on, I'll connect you with Trent after the show. We're going to take a really short break. If you'd like to ask Trent a question about your car, now's the time to give him a buzz. He's in for a few more moments. 8223 0000.
Morning, Dave.
Hey Dave, how's it going? That's good.
That was Dave before he discovered the incredible fully adjustable Ultramatic bed. Now he gets a great night's sleep and it's reduced his snoring. Dave sleeps like a baby and wakes up like...
Morning all! Beautiful day, isn't it?
Ultramatic beds. Truly life-changing. Ultramatic.com.au.
Here at FIVEAA, we're all about supporting local. Here's who you can support around Adelaide. Celebrate the 50th anniversary of Greyhound Racing at Angle Park, Friday, April 29. Visit grsa.com.au for more. Gamble responsibly. These school holidays, get into Wallace Cinemas. Check out Rabbit Academy, The Bad Guys, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Fantastic Beasts, and low candy bar prices. Book tickets online or download the app. Cleanaway are looking for qualified mechanics to help make a sustainable future possible. Work for Australia's largest waste management company. Apply today at cleanaway.com.au/careers. FIVEAA, supporting local business.
Our pets can be such a comfort, and to some of us, they are clearly part of the family. So show them you care and head into your local Cheapest Chips for amazing catalogue deals out this Wednesday. There's loads of great deals like the new Oxford Large Pet Sofa for only $99. Or check out the portable pet steps for $35. That'll save you $5. Call into your nearest Cheapest Chips and grab a grass toilet training tray, a must-have for only $18. And don't forget to grab the Pick-a-Poo degradable waste bags, 20-pack for only $3.75. Plus, you can check out the water or food barrel pet dispenser for only $16. And what about grabbing a 400-gram bag of Scooby Snacks, a hot buy for only $4.99. So get to your local Cheapest Chips for amazing catalogue deals out this Wednesday. Even pets live cheaper every day at Cheapest Chips.
The long weekend is calling. And so is Thirsty Camel. From celebrations to catch-ups, Thirsty Camel has all your refreshment needs and great specials like Great Northern Super Crisp 24-pack $46.99, Johnny Walker Red Label Scotch Whisky 700ml $39.99, and Squealing Pig selected varietals 2 for $30 this week. Answer the camel's call. Find your closest bottle shop at thirstycamel.com.au. Pricing may vary in country areas. Hydrate responsibly.
Hi, Susanna Toop here. Tenants, you're going to love this. Toop and Toop now gives you early access to rental properties. Hear about properties up to 2 months in advance and before they become publicly available, with email alerts direct to your inbox. No more rushing around to find something in just 2 weeks. With Toop and Toop, you can now find your next home sooner. So if you're struggling to find a rental property or you want to plan early, simply register now at toop.com.au/rent.
Jade Robran on 1395, Adelaide's 5AA.
Welcome back. It's 22 minutes past 3 o'clock on Afternoons with Jade Robran. We're talking motoring with Trent Nikolic, Managing Editor at drive.com.au. And if you do have a question you would like to ask Trent, now's the time to give us a call. 8223 0000 is the number. And we're joined by Robbie from Everard Park. Hi, Robbie.
Yeah, hi.
What would you like to ask Trent?
Yeah, look, actually it's not a question. It's just when you mentioned about some manufacturers doing something out of goodwill, like a warranty.
Yeah.
Even when it's past the warranty. So I've had that with my Colorado and Holdens. I've always bought Holdens. And, let's book it in. Let's get it sorted. And there was a goodwill, and we were, probably 5,000 kilometres out of the warranty.
And, mate, I think that, look, I like the fact that you've called in to call it out because we do spend a lot of time, talking about where companies go wrong, and it's good to always give them a pat on the back when they deserve it. But I think you see this a lot in the rural and regional areas of Australia where you have a family who's only ever bought Holdens or only ever bought Toyotas. And the reason they do that is because they get that kind of service that you're talking about. And I think where it's narrow-minded of them and short-sighted, I mean, obviously Holden's not in Australia anymore, but where it's short-sighted is if you look after a person who's bought a car from your dealership, they will keep coming back to you because they trust you and they like the way they're being treated.
Yeah, exactly. But, I turn over the car every 3 or 4 years and they look after me. So I'm really happy, disappointed the brand is gone.
Making sales with you, mate. Absolutely.
Yeah, smart business, isn't it? I've got a message here. Hi, Trent. Auto Masters quoted me $4,000 to replace the air conditioner in my 2012 Captiva. Seems over the top to me, ?
Depends what part of the air conditioner it is, Jade. If it's just the compressor in the engine bay, that shouldn't be more than $300 or $400 because those components are not expensive. But if it's something that's gone wrong with what we call the heating, ventilation and air conditioning, so HVAC matrix that goes up under the dashboard, that's a pig of a job. You've got to pull half of the car apart to get up under there to get to the piece in the first place and then pull it out and replace it. So you'd need to find out which part of the air conditioning system they're replacing.
And this is hot news because this is a super popular car, the 2023 Ford Ranger. It's coming to town. What can you tell us?
Yeah, we've got a story on drive.com.au at the moment, anybody who's interested, because as you said, this is the car everybody wants to talk about, the new Ranger. So Ranger Wildtrak, what's interesting is the twin-turbo 2-litre 4-cylinder model is going to arrive in showrooms before the new engine, which is the 3-litre V6 diesel. So the 2-litre 4-cylinder is the one we've had in the old platform. We're going to get that engine again first before we get the new V6. So just keep that in mind if you want the V6, because that's out of the Ford F-150 in the United States. It's a really good engine. That's going to take time. It's going to take time to get here. So the 4-cylinder will come first, V6 later.
And if you're looking for something a little fancy, talk to me about the Lexus RZ electric SUV.
Good-looking thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
so
it's pretty.
That's the Lexus RZ electric SUV, so really stylish and very typically Lexus on the outside. It's a battery electric platform. It's coming to Australia at some point. We're getting an online reveal at 8 o'clock tomorrow night, so we'll be able to share more details with you once that happens. But it's a really stylish-looking vehicle. So either late tomorrow night or early the morning after, you'll be able to read about that at drive.com.au.
And do you know roughly what are they starting to come down in prices, these electric cars, or will this still be, sky high?
No, they're starting to. And I think, your listeners will have heard me say that they're becoming more affordable. I don't want to be flippant and say that something that's $50,000 or $60,000 is a car that everybody can afford. I know that. But they are becoming more affordable slowly but surely, and I think that's good news for Australian consumers.
I've got a message here from Megan. My boy gets his P plates in 4 weeks' time. I'm horrified. I've got $30,000 to spend. Oh, God, I feel you, Megan. I've got $30,000 to spend on buying him a new car. What would you suggest?
Look, you can get really, really good stuff. Like, that's a fantastic budget, Megan, and you don't need to be petrified if you're buying your son a particularly safe vehicle, which you'll be able to do. For $30,000, I'd be looking at things like Toyota Corolla Hybrid, Hyundai i30, Kia Cerato, those kinds of cars. You'll also sneak a Mazda 3 in there for that kind of money. Corolla Hybrid's going to be incredibly fuel efficient, cheap to service and maintain. That's probably my pick in that segment. I'd start there. But you've got nothing to worry about there. $30,000 is going to buy you a really good, high-quality, safe first car for your son, so don't panic.
Or, Megan, you could just tell him that nothing's available for another 6 months and just he can't drive.
I like it. That's good.
That's another solution. Hey, thanks so much.
No worries, Jade. Thank you.
Thank you. And if you'd like to head to drive.com.au, some of the stories that we were talking about will be on there for you to read further in depth. We're going to take a really short break. Coming up afterwards, we'll be heading to London to talk about some royal news. Also, we're going to be talking to infectious diseases expert Professor Paul Griffin, because there is talk about the flu being worse than ever before, the mega flu that's coming. Now, they're calling it a bad case of the flu this year. It's basically because we've been wrapped in cotton wool for the last 2 years, and our immune system just isn't quite used to fighting off these bugs. So we'll be talking about how we can best protect ourselves. I've also got a gift voucher to give away, a $100 gift voucher for TVSN. If you love your shopping, love TVSN, log on, click on, switch on tvsn.com.au. They are your ultimate shopping experience. Think electronics, beauty, gardening, fashion, travel, pretty much anything you can buy is on tvsn.com.au. To win it, I'd love to know, what's the best online purchase you've ever made? So mine is my robot vacuum cleaner. I charge little Billy up and then let him go for about 4 hours, and I come back and the house is pretty spotless. Not the best vacuum cleaner in the world. I'm probably that in my house because no one else helps me out. But little Billy, that would have to be mine, the robot vacuum cleaner. So, to win a $150 TVSN voucher, what is the best online purchase you've ever made? 8223 0000.
Home renovations can be akin to climbing Everest. Every step of the way can be torturous to reach your ultimate goal. Well, the same could be said for home renovations, but not if you go with BuyUrban Bathrooms and Kitchens. The team at BuyUrban have always believed the journey is just as important as the destination. So start your journey with BuyUrban Bathrooms and Kitchens, Adelaide's home renovation experts. Visit buyurban.com.au.
Get in here. It's Sheeds. We don't have the time to mess around. We can't afford any more downtime, and we need a result. It's about trust, and for hydraulic hose repairs, Ryco 24/7 are the ones. They'll get to you wherever you are. Their vans are on the road with fully qualified repairers, and they are supported by that other great South Australian team, BL Shipway, who I've known for over 30 years. Call Ryco 24/7 on 133247 or visit ryco247.com.au.
If you thought a good house inspector was hard to find, well, take a look at House Inspect Australia. Mike Pearl and his team are Australia's most qualified house inspectors.
Mike's very passionate about helping find cures to rare diseases by supporting the Rare Find Foundation.
So he has dedicated the rest of this ad to them. The Rare Find Foundation helps improve the lives of people affected by rare diseases and supports their families and carers too. Learn more about the organisation or make a donation at rarefindfoundation.org.
Peaceful living awaits at the 19th at West, with golf course views, tree-lined walking trails, a new cafe and retail shopping precinct. The best of the West is at your fingertips, with new 3 and 4 bedroom designs and prices beginning from just $730K. It's no surprise 19th at West is selling quickly. Discover the new collection today. the19thwest.com.au. Delivered by Commercial and General, proudly creating South Australian communities for 25 years.
Every year, people get hit by serious diseases caught from mozzie bites. Mozzies may be small, but they can still be dangerous, even deadly. So protect yourself by covering up with long, loose clothing, using insect repellent, and eliminating the water mozzies breed in. Fight the bite. Cover up, repel, eliminate. For more information, visit sahealth.sa.gov.au/fightthebite or call your local council. A message from the Government of South Australia.
When you think about life-saving equipment, what comes to mind? Here's something you probably haven't thought of: a teddy bear. Teddy bears provide comfort to kids staying in Cancer Council SA's new building on Green Hill Road. The building will have all the vital services and support under one roof for people living with cancer. They need your help to fill it with life-saving equipment like teddy bears. Items are available to purchase from just $20. Donate now at 202greenhill.com.au.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Good afternoon, I'm Michaela Kamarek. David Spears has been elected the new leader of the Liberal Party in SA. He won this morning's party room vote by 13. 3,829 COVID cases have been recorded in SA today and 3 deaths. At least 7 people have been killed in the first fatal Russian attacks on the western Ukrainian city of Lviv. And the AFL will continue to take a zero-tolerance approach to dissent towards umpires, but acknowledges it got some decisions wrong during round 5. Partly cloudy this afternoon, 20. Right now it's 18. More news at 4 o'clock and as it happens on 5AA.
1395, Adelaide's 5AA. This is Jade Robran.
Good afternoon. It is 3:33 on this Tuesday afternoon. I hope you're having a fantastic afternoon, day 1 of the school holidays. I hope the kids are treating you well, not too much of a headache, and that you all had a lovely, lovely Easter break. So I have a $150 TVSN voucher to give away, the shopping network. So anything, pretty much. I logged on this morning and there is electronics, beauty, gardening, fashion, travel, everything you could possibly imagine. So would love to hear from you. If you've got a funny story from your Easter weekend, or you'd like to ring in and let me know what's the best online purchase you've made. We're about to talk royals. It could be even... who is the royal that you would most like to meet and have a cup of tea with, and why? Maybe you have met a royal. My grandpa, he was given an OAM and was awarded an OAM, and actually went on the ship. I think it was the Britannia that came here way back when, and boarded the boat, and was actually awarded the OAM from Her Majesty the Queen herself. So that was a little bit special. Let's now talk with Natalie Oliveri, royal reporter from 9 Honey. Prince Harry and his wife Meghan, they're winning hearts at the Invictus Games in Hague. The Prince has also revealed he met his grandma, the Queen, which is great news. Natalie, good afternoon. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Jade.
So they had a meeting. Was it civil? Was it nice? Is everything okay?
Well, look, by all reports, that it did go rather well. Prince Harry spoke about the meeting very briefly with the BBC, saying that it was good to meet up with his grandmother and that she had passed on several messages of support to the British Invictus Game team. And Harry said that he passed most of those messages across, but that's all he revealed. So we don't really know exactly what went down. But I guess one thing to come of the meeting is that Harry and Meghan have now been extended an invitation invitation to attend Her Majesty's Platinum Jubilee events in June. So that is quite a big thing that we're hearing from the UK in the past few hours. And look, what that would mean is that most likely if Harry and Meghan accept, that they could make an appearance on the balcony of Buckingham Palace with other members of the royal family and hopefully the Queen, but they wouldn't be allowed to take a formal role in the proceedings. So if for Trooping the Colour, for example, they wouldn't be able to take part in the carriage procession down the Mall to the palace. Instead, they'd be able to just appear on the balcony with extended members of the Queen's family. So, like I said, they haven't actually accepted the invitation yet. Their spokesperson hasn't commented about their future travel plans, but it certainly does seem, I guess, that there's been some sort of breakthrough in the tension between Harry and his family. And really nice to hear that he did meet up with his grandmother, because for him it had been nearly a year since he'd seen her in person. The last time he was in the UK was in July last year for that statue unveiling of his mother. Meghan hadn't been there since March 2020. But look, no cameras were allowed in. There are rumours that a film crew from Netflix did follow them around Windsor Castle for this meeting. But look, that's yet to be seen. Yeah, look, I can't imagine the Queen allowing that to happen. But really nice to see that Harry did meet up with the Queen and also Prince Charles. But look, William and Kate weren't in the UK at the time. They were skiing in France. So unfortunately, we don't think Harry had any chance to catch up with his brother.
Let's chat about the Invictus Games. Harry and Meghan seem very happy there. They're lapping it all up, and the public really do seem to love them also. Is that because they're in a safe environment there amongst, the Invictus Games athletes, and he's been involved with that for so many years? Or do you think that there's a bit of a changing of attitude towards them?
Look, I think it's more to do with the fact that Harry is a military man himself. He spent served 10 years in the army. So these are very much his people. And look, he created the Invictus Games back in 2014. So it's his baby. He has created, I guess, this opportunity for servicemen and women and other military personnel to take part in these games. So they love him. And I think, it really is Harry's greatest legacy here, this event that he's created. It's now in its fifth competition. It came to Sydney in 2018. And look, one competitor actually said that Invictus is Harry's family, and he's now back with his own people. And look, Harry and Meghan, they appear so happy themselves. They appear really joyous, really thrilled to be there. They've received a huge welcome. And yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that it is the Invictus Games. I guess if they were back in the UK, the reception might be somewhat different, but really nice to see them, I guess, back in the spotlight again, because they haven't really been doing that much, Jade, for the past 2 years, despite, stepping back from the royal family and trying to embark in a world of financial freedom.
I want to ask you two things about Meghan, because everyone said, Harry's doing such a great job and he's back in the public eye doing what he does best, and then they've hit out at Meghan yet again, and they've sort of said, she made a comment about, well, this is real service or something along those lines. And then on the night, it might have been the opening night, she was on stage and she introduced her husband as Prince Harry, what's his title?
The patron. He's the Duke of Sussex.
There you go, the Duke of Sussex. Now, with that, I didn't know that they were still allowed to use their titles.
Yeah, so they're absolutely still allowed to use their titles as the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. They never lost those titles. What they can't use is His Royal Highness, Her Royal Highness. So they still have those titles, they're just not allowed to use them. So that's the difference there. Prince Harry is still a prince, he's always going to be a prince. So nothing's really changed there, but a lot of people do get confused, and a lot of people do point out, I guess Meghan in particular, if they wanted to step away from the royal family, if they wanted this life of freedom away from all the rules and restraints that comes with being a member of the monarchy, why then keep their styles as Duke and Duchess of Sussex? And Meghan does use this title all the time. When she wrote that children's book, The Bench, she was on the cover of that as Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. So look, we're not going to see them lose these titles anytime soon. They have every right to keep them. The only thing that they did lose, apart from the His Royal Highness, Her Royal Highness style, was they were given many patronages by Queen Elizabeth, but they've had to give those back. And Harry has lost many of his military titles, so he's no longer, he was given Colonel-in-Chief of of one particular regiment. He's not allowed to be known as that anymore. So there are a few things that they have had to give back, but there are Duke and Duchess of Sussex titles. Certainly they've been able to keep those.
Do you think the door has been left ajar a little bit? Like, do you think after the week that they've had in Hague and, you know, that they're loving it and they are very good in the public eye, that they could perhaps return to royal life, or is that door shut?
Look, I think it's certainly a hope. I mean, it was such a shame when Harry and Meghan decided to step back from royal duties because they could have done so much good together. Right, they were such a powerful force, the two of them.
Yeah,
but they
and from different walks of life and race, religion, like there's so many boxes that are ticked here that...
Yeah, and...
appeals.
And even that, well, that's right. Even the causes that Meghan was pursuing to support, they were quite different from causes that, say, Diana, Princess of Wales, or the Duchess of Cambridge have chosen to support. So Meghan was doing her own thing there. So it has been such a shame to see them go. However, you know, they keep saying they're trying to do their own version of good in America, in another, you know, supporting the monarchy in a different way. So, look, I certainly can't see them returning to their previous lives as senior working royals. However, it would be good to see them support the Queen during her Platinum Jubilee. I mean, that's taking place in June. I wouldn't be surprised if they do travel across to the UK to take part in those four-day events in some form. And certainly Harry loves his grandmother. The Queen obviously loves her grandson, and there is great respect between the two of them. So I think it would be a huge shame if he didn't take part in some way. But look, a formal role, that's certainly not going to happen.
Question without notice. I saw a photo on the weekend of Princess Charlene of Monaco out of hospital. She still doesn't look so well, though, does she?
Look, this Princess Charlene story, I've been following this for over a year now, and you know, she had spent 6 months in South Africa. She had travelled there as part of a wildlife mission to start with, but prior to her leaving Monaco, she'd had surgery. It was while she was in South Africa that she come down with an infection, and she had to have a range of follow-up surgeries. But then, you know, there were complications, and doctors had prevented her from flying back to Monaco. So she was stuck there for 6 months. Missed her wedding anniversary, her 10-year wedding anniversary with Prince Albert, missed seeing her children. They did get to visit at some point. She returned to Monaco in November last year, but was there for just barely a week before she was admitted to this private health clinic. Now, at the time, Prince Albert said his wife was suffering from exhaustion, both emotional and physical, and they didn't really go any further. He did deny that it was COVID-related. He denied that it had anything to do with plastic surgery. He also said it wasn't cancer-related. So quite serious statements there from the palace. He also was very insistent in saying that it had nothing to do with problems in their marriage. Look, she spent nearly 4 months in this private health clinic. We don't really know what she was being treated for. She was, I guess, released back to Monaco in March this year, and we hadn't seen anything from her until Easter Sunday, which is when the Princess Palace did put out that photograph of Princess Charlene with her husband, their 2 children, Prince Jacques and Princess Gabriella. Really nice to see her there. Look, she didn't look entirely happy. She did have a smile on her face. Charlene shared the photos herself onto her own Instagram account with the caption, "Happy Easter." We haven't seen her take part in an official royal duty since January 2021. So, you know, we're hoping that she will resume her public role again because, after all, she is Princess of Monaco. That is her title. And part of that title comes the obligation to perform royal duties. But, of course, she cannot do that until she's well enough. So he's hoping that she will recover fully and be able to do that again soon.
Well, their relationship and royal life has always been a bit rocky, hasn't it, Natalie? Thank you so much, as always.
Thanks, Jade.
That is Natalie Oliveri there, royal reporter at 9 Honey. Now, I put the call out, what is the best online purchase that you've made so that you can go into the running to win a $150 voucher from TVSN. Sue from Christie's Beach joins us. Hi, Sue.
Hi, Jade. How are you?
Really good. What's the best purchase you've made online?
I buy all my shoes online simply because I like a particular brand, which is a women's shoe called Riker, if you know them.
No, I don't. Where are they from?
Okay. They're California, they're made. And if you buy them, if you can find them and buy them in Australia, they cost about over $200.
Yeah.
If you buy them online from America, you've got to wait, probably about a month for them to arrive. They're about $100.
Oh, bargain.
If you buy them in America, which I've only been to America once and I'm not going back again just to buy shoes, they're only about $80. So, like the Australian conversion. So, but they're a women's shoe, sport, walking and casual, and I just buy all mine online, and I've actually just bought some this afternoon.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your story, and congratulations because you have won a $150 TVSN voucher.
More Rikers.
Yeah, well, woohoo! Hopefully they have them. Thank you so much. You stay on the line, Sue. Thank you. Love shopping, love TVSN. Log on, click on, switch on. TVSN.com.au is your ultimate shopping experience. We're going to take a short break. Coming up afterwards, we'll be joined by Rowie to let us know what is happening in the world of sport, which I believe a lot is happening in the world of AFL. And then we're going to be talking to Professor Paul Griffin about the flu and COVID.
Each Tuesday afternoon on Rowie's Sports Show, AFL icon and Hall of Fame legend Kevin Sheedy joins Rowie to discuss all the key AFL issues. Thanks to BL Shipway, a South Australian institution looking after SA's hydraulic and pneumatic needs for over 70 years.
Did you know that South Australian explorer John Horrocks was shot and killed by his own camel? His shotgun, still in the animal's pack, accidentally discharged as his camel moved to kneel down, mortally wounding poor John. Actually true. And did you know that all Automasters service and repair centres offer repair now, pay later options? Absolutely true. Switch and save on logbook servicing, repairs, brakes, aircon and more. Call 1300 Automasters. Great service, guaranteed.
Hi, I'm Peter Berkowitz from Berkowitz Furniture. Our massive autumn sale is on right now. You'll save up to 30%. Save hundreds on sofas, chairs, dining and more. Save on famous Berkowitz comfort and quality. There's our great Australian brands like Molmic, plus Scandinavian brands Stressless and IMG. And you can customise to your heart's content. Be part of our massive autumn sale and save up to 30%. We're not just a furniture store, we're an Aussie furniture family. In-store at Mile End Homemaker Centre and online.
The Barossa Valley is a great place to visit. You have history, wine, great food, nature, wine. What if you had one extra draw card? Your parents. Retirement units are available in safe and connected neighbourhoods just an hour from the city. We're talking about newly renovated 1, 2 and 3 bedroom homes from around 180k to 300k. They get the vine change and you get another reason to visit the Barossa. Win-win. Talk to your parents today about Barossa Village. Find out more at barossavillage.org.
Who can fix the shower?
Service today.
Who can fix the power?
Service today.
Yes, we can, is what we say.
Service today.
Every time you see our bright yellow trucks in your area, we're helping out your neighbours. We can help you too. So for the best plumbing, electrical, heating and cooling work, call Service Today 24/7.
Can you fix the shower?
Yes, we can. Can you fix the power?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can, is what we say.
Service Today.
Call 1300 Service.
I was quite sporty as a kid, but always had trouble with my crunchy knees. And then one day the right knee completely locked. My GP advised me to see a surgeon, so I went on the internet and thankfully found the Joint Replacement Clinic, who explained I needed total knee replacement. That was the bad news. But because of my medical insurance, there was no gap, not a single expense. And with the new knee, I'm swinging the old clubs again.
Ask your GP or visit thejointreplacementclinic.com.au. Renewing mobility, restoring life.
G'day, it's Jared for Wayville Mitsubishi. The Wayville showroom on Goodwood Road is going through a rebuild, so right now you'll need to enter via Goodwood Road for sales and via Davenport Lane for service. So it's business as usual at Wayville Mitsubishi, driven by Australian Motors.
So now you know about the camel who shot the explorer. You also know how to switch and save with Automasters. Logbook servicing, repairs, brakes, aircon and more. Call 1300 Automasters. Great service, guaranteed.
Jade Robran on 1395, Adelaide's 5AA.
Good afternoon, it's 10 minutes to 4 o'clock and you can head to 5AA live stream on either Facebook or YouTube. We're proudly supporting Cancer Council. After 4 o'clock, it's Rowie's Sports Show and I'm happy to say he's back.
Jade.
Croaky, but back.
Yeah, great to be back. Still a tad scratchy. I'm just an unhealthy, sickly, low immune system, flu-riddled loser. So I went from COVID, which I was really crook, to this. And I tell you, this one got me bad. I know you're going to speak to an associate professor after this, so I'll be looking forward to hearing that. I'll get on with it. Bix and Billy Frampton talk Crows' great win over the Tigers. I think one of the best wins under Matty Nix he's ever had. Timmy G and Connor Rosie on Port. How can you be that bad and that good in the same game?
Oh, I know. He played really well, and unfortunately, well, half of them did, and then they played well for a half, and then not for another half, and it just...
Ridiculous. We'll have stud after 5:30. We'll talk about umpire dissent. Roll your eyes, 50. Stomp your feet, 50. Put your arms out, 50. Shake your head, 50. What is our game coming to?
That was a laughable joke on the weekend. It really was. And I don't know if you saw the Sydney game. I mentioned it to KG. You saw Isaac Heaney holding his arms down. Like on two occasions, he was like, oh, no, caught myself. I've got to control myself. Everyone does it.
Of course they do. It's called frustration. There needs to be tolerance.
And
there is none. It's zero tolerance. You show any dissent, 50. Give me a spill. They're wrecking the game. See ya.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much. And Rowie is on after 4 o'clock. Great to have him back. Well, as we just spoke then, Rowie has been really unwell with the flu, and we've spoken about the super flu coming our way. Well, a new warning today that a horror flu season could knock our young ones for a six. Some experts are saying that the symptoms could be worse for some than actual COVID. Why? Well, let's ask our expert, Professor Paul Griffin. Always great to have you on the show. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me.
Well, why could this be the case, Professor? Is this because we're immune naive? We just haven't been exposed to it?
Yeah, that's right. That's a really big part of it is, our measures to control COVID have been very successful at controlling the flu as well. And we've undone a lot of those now, so we know the flu is going to come back. So we've had very few people exposed and also low vaccination rates. So it means we've got perhaps one of the most vulnerable populations for the flu that we've had in a very long time. So as we see the flu come back, the consequences are likely to be very significant from that. And even if we don't have a really bad flu year, even a little bit of flu with the amount of COVID we're going to still have is going to come together to be a really significant burden on our healthcare system.
So why is it saying that the young ones could be knocked around more than us?
So we know they're very different viruses, and while the way we manage them is likely to have some similarities, they're very different. And we do see the flu cause greater impact in young children particularly, and they're also more able to spread it around. So they're so-called super spreaders of the flu, and so that's why we do see it go through schools and go through kids so much, and why it's so important to get them vaccinated. We've got a great vaccine that kids can have from 6 months of age, so it's available for kids younger than the COVID vaccine is, and it's really important that they get it this year particularly.
Well, like you just said, they're super spreaders, so this is bad news for little people, but also for us, and they come home, parents, then they're exposed to grandparents. So really, this is a blanket thing for all of us that we could be in for a horror flu season.
Yeah, that's right. And we just need to change our thinking to make sure we have a good strategy to cope with having both of those viruses circulating really for the first time to the levels we're going to see. And what that really looks like, of course, is to make sure people have had their vaccines for both. And if you do have symptoms that could be compatible with one or other virus or both, make sure you get tested. And soon, as we see more flu come through, a negative COVID test won't be a green light to just go about your business and go and spread other things around. It'll be important to also get tested for the flu so we can find those cases. And also ask those people to stay home until they've recovered so they don't spread it around.
Prof, what are some other tips to staying healthy other than getting vaccinated that you just touched on then? What else can you do?
Look, it's really all those simple things. So, social distancing works for both. Staying away from people with symptoms works for both. Masks, for example, will also help. And then just making sure that, you look after yourself. There are people with lots of medical problems that can increase their risk for both. And so important that they get those addressed and the management optimised leading into the flu season. So, see your GP or specialist to make sure your medications are optimised there. And simple things like a good healthy diet, the right amount of exercise, and the right amount of rest as well. All of those things also contribute.
How important is it just simply opening windows and doors in the homes and classrooms?
Yeah, ventilation works really well. Of course, it's not the sole part of the story that we need to worry about. We also need to look at those other factors as well. But when we add in good ventilation, it certainly does reduce the risk of transmission. So, wherever possible, ventilation is something that we should look at. It gets harder in winter, of course, with the temperature. So, that's part of the reason we see these viruses spread around a bit more in the cooler months. But whenever you can and it's comfortable and safe to do so, a bit more ventilation can help.
You're a star as always. We love having you on the show, Professor Paul Griffin. Thank you.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
Professor Paul Griffin there, infectious diseases expert at the Uni of Queensland. Rowie Sports Show is coming up next. Thank you so much for spending your Tuesday afternoon with me. Have a fantastic afternoon. I'll do it all again tomorrow. Bye for now.
5AA's daily live video stream of The Breakfast Show is a game changer in Australian radio and is back